This is a version of tuna salad. It's going to be a low carb version because that's what I'm doing right now. And the primary difference is that you cannot use the dill pickle relish, the sweet pickle relish. So you have to use a dill pickle relish. I also like to bump up the flavor, and then I like to add a little bit more protein to it by adding some egg whites. So I don't want to hard boil a bunch of eggs. So an easy way I do it is just to get a little bit of water and stick it in the microwave for a few minutes. And then I put the egg whites into the water. And of course, you're going to reserve your yolks for something else and your shells for the flower beds. Or you can feed them both to the dogs. You don't have to be too careful and try to get a little bit of yolk in there. It's okay. We're not going to whip these, so I'll just do 4. And I like to preheat that water so that it doesn't take as long. They're almost as good as when you make deviled eggs. So we just stick this back in the microwave for a few minutes. Start out with about a minute or a minute and a half. You want to kind of keep an eye on them. And meanwhile, you're just going to move on to the rest of the mixture. You can just chop those up and put them in the end. So I use 2 cans of albacore tuna. That's because that's what I like. I drain it, and I use that the liquid, the water that it's in there, or if it's packed in oil, I drain it, and then I'll put it over the dog's food so they get some of that extra stuff in there, because it smells for them, so they think they're getting a little treat. All right. Mush it up on there. Like I said, I use 2 cans. Alright. Now, to bump up the flavor, what I like to put in there is a little bit of parsley. If you have fresh parsley, that's awesome. Use that. Otherwise, about a tablespoon of the dried. I like to sprinkle a little bit of Greek seasoning on it. That's that Cavender's. White pepper. Now I'll add a big scoop of the dill relish. It doesn't matter what brand you use, but you want to use dill relish because the sweet relish, which I would typically use, has carbs in it. All right. Just give that a toss. This is something new I'm going to try this time, is adding the preserved lemon to it, just to bump up the flavor, get it something different. You can see right there. When you're doing that low carb, you can use basically any kind of mayo. Homemade is best, but of course, I don't have any right now, so I'm just going to use what I have in the refrigerator. Let's see. So I'm going to chop up some of these preserved lemons. Of course, you want to really bump up your salt intake when you're doing low carb, or you'll get cramps. So I don't mind using a few of these. They have a lot of salt on them, so those lemons. They smell wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And they don't really taste too salty. However, They're just a little bit too salty if you put them in just like this. They're great if you're just baking fish. But they tend to be a little bit too salty. Just if you're just going to use it on this. So I try and scrape off some of the salt. Make sure you're not putting any seeds in them. And we just rough chop them up. Kind of like a candied rind at this point. Pretty good. Probably have enough salt in there to start adding some more lemon if I get some. And remember, they can be very salty, so you kind of want to watch it on that. You might need to even rinse them off, or you can just use some of the syrup. That would be good, because that syrup does form in that drawer. All right, now we're going to get our egg whites. And these are just egg whites that I just poached basically in the microwave. Make it quicker, a little bit easy, squeezy, lemon peasy. That took all of, what, 2 minutes maybe? So if you think that your lemon is a little too salty, you can just put it on your handy dandy slotted spoon and rinse it off in that egg water. Probably just take off that foam if it bothers you, but I hadn't gotten to the point yet where I'm depleted on my salts, because I'm just, there's a seed. I'm just pretty much starting, but I do want to get some of it off. Make sure I get some salt. Like I said, you can just rinse it off under the sink. And then you're just going to rough chop egg whites. Help them cool off too a little bit. And you just go ahead and put those in there. I don't really like egg yolks. I know, but I don't like them in salads and like potato salad or anything like that. I like them in deviled eggs, but I don't really like them in this format. So just mix that up again. And then add a couple big scoops of mayonnaise. Real mayo. Don't use salad dressing. You want to use real mayo. Or you could use like a Greek yogurt if you want to bump up the carbs on it or something like that. But that's it. Just mix it together. And you're good to go. You can put some in side lettuce to make a wrap, or you can use some of those low-carb crackers for dipping. Put it on the top of a big salad. If you're doing a chef salad type thing. Or just keep it in the refrigerator. Eat it by a spoonful. Because, you know, sometimes you're going to, well, eventually you will. You'll get to the point when you're doing that low-carb or keto that you're not hungry. You just don't want to eat. You just are not hungry. But you have to eat. You have to force yourself to eat. Consider your body is a furnace. And you got to keep your furnace stoked. If you want to bump up your metabolism, you want to keep everything burning, you got to feed the furnace. So, you got to make sure you're eating, even if you don't want to. That's it. Easy squeezy. lemon peasy.